now it's just one big circle. So yeah,
I think we are.
you think so?
It
Because
says live on Facebook at the top.
I don't see nothing. Nothing.
Yeah, yeah. We are. We're live. We're live. We're live,
Hey,
Natalie. We're live.
yeah. Hello, everybody. I hope you are having a fantastic Friday. I hope you are comfortable, got you something to drink, something to eat, a nice little snack. Welcome to the Queen's Corner. I am media correspondent Natalie Lewis, and I have a special guest today. I'm so excited to chat and have this conversation and talk about something that is very important amongst women, especially Black women. And we're going to talk about this thing called sisterhood. My special, amazing, wonderful sister friend guest is Andromeda Raheem from She Wins Society. Hey, girl. Hey.
Hey, girl. Hey, I'm so excited to be
We made it.
here. Yes.
We are here and I'm so excited. So thank you so much for being my first guest on the show. Very first guest. And it's a good thing for me because it's like we talk about sisterhood, but like y'all don't understand. I will fight somebody. And Drama already know. Like I will fight somebody for her. So y'all try it. Y'all gonna have to see my fist. I will fight somebody for it. So it's real sisterhood, and just having a conversation about why it's needed, why you must find your tribe, and just really be yourself and attract the people that you want in your life. So I'm so excited. So Andromeda, tell us more about you, what you do, how you got started. Give us a little background in your own words.
Well, I first want to say thank you for having me to be the first guest, your first guest. I feel so honored to be here. Like Natalie said, guys, my name is Andromeda Raheem. I am the founder of She Wins Society. And just to give you a little bit of backstory, I decided to become an entrepreneur back in 2014. That's not exactly what I intended to do per se, but I was in search of my purpose, and my purpose led me to entrepreneurship. I started an organization called Women by Choice. And a year ago, I rebranded to She Wins Society just as a symbol of not only my growth, but the direction that I wanted my organization to go in after the years of experience that I gained from interacting and engaging with other women. So at She Wins Society, we definitely put sisterhood at the forefront. That is our priority because we believe that when women support women, we all win. Beyond that, though, however, we definitely focus on helping women to invest in their personal development and to prioritize self-care because self-care is definitely connected to sisterhood. I found that in my years of empowering women and coaching women and speaking at women empowerment events, hosting my own women empowerment events, taking women on retreats, I found that when women are at their best selves, when they are confident in who they are and they feel successful in their own lives, it just makes sisterhood that much more richer and just easier to do. Happy women have no issue with supporting and celebrating other women. So in conjunction with us promoting sisterhood and providing spaces for women to come together and to unite in sisterhood, we also focus on courses and coaching and different activities that help women to invest in their personal development, to become the best version of themselves, and to also prioritize their self-care because self-care is mandatory. And I totally believe that the better you get, the bigger you win. So that's just a little bit about me.
Absolutely. I love the fact that you said the better you get, the bigger you win because it when you are feeling good about yourself, you can easily see someone else and instead of having a negative mindset of like, oh, she thinks she all that, it's like, yes, sis, go, sis, I see you winning. You become inspired by a woman that's on a journey of becoming her best self, which is truly really how I connected with you. Like I was like, okay, I see what's this about? What's this organization about? And it was at a time for me where I was like, I'm done. Like I don't do women. Like so for those listening, maybe you were at a place have been to a point, or you're at a point where you're just like, yeah, I'm good. I don't need no new friends. I always thought that that saying was so stupid when it came out. Like, what you mean, no new friends? You know, in order to grow, to become a better person, you need people. That's even biblical. Like, iron sharpens iron. You can't go nowhere if you're not going to be sharpened. You can't sharpen yourself either. So, on your journey of creating this amazing network, which I have been a part of and been blessed to be a part of, I'm pretty sure you ran into some things that you were just like, yeah, I'm all set. So how did you overcome that? Because I see it a lot on Facebook. You know, you hear about it. There's a negative, thing about sisterhood, but then I know and I've experienced the beauty of it as well. So, touch on maybe those times where you kind of felt the ugliness of it, but you decided to keep going and keep pushing so that you can really prove that sisterhood is needed and sisterhood is something that we all should have.
Whew, that's a good question. So I want to start by saying that at the time that I created Women by Choice, at the time that I created an organization for women to come together, I was still in a space of, like, I would say, recovery. Like, I was a recovering woman who was saying, I'm done with women. But because I recognize, like Natalie said, the need, like, we need to connect. There's a value in us connecting, and that it was just unfair for me to put all women in this one category and say we're all crazy, without including myself in that, was just unfair. It was unfair to just let a few interactions cause me to just completely have this negative view of women and our ability to actually come together and work together and support each other. So I created Women by Choice out of necessity. How I've continued to go on despite still running into certain experiences and interactions that disappoint me or that hurt my feelings when it comes to women. I've recognized that this is bigger than me. It's really not about me anymore. At the moment in which I took this from Andromeda's platform to Women by Choice, to She Wins Society, and women came in and they invested in this organization and they confirm all the time for me how this organization helps them, I cannot take my personal feelings out on the entire organization. I can't say that, well, because Andromeda had a bad experience, y'all forget sisterhood, we're done. We're going to wrap this all up. Thank you for your time, but we're going to go on. Like, I just cannot do that. This is so much bigger than me. And I believe that God gave me this because he knew that it would be something more difficult for me to walk away from. If it was just me by myself, I'd have to say, I can't say for sure that I would have continued despite the obstacles and challenges I faced, but it's actually been the women in my tribe that have kept me going, because even when I have bad interactions, I can look within and say, but wait, we are not all like this. And I have sisters who truly believe in sisterhood and are gonna keep pushing this mission forward. So long story short, it's not about me. It's bigger than me.
I love that. That it's not about you, because we can get caught up sometimes, especially when you in your feelings over a situation. I know me. I'll be like, sometimes I have to give myself a day. Like, I'm gonna give myself 24 hours with this situation. Then I'm gonna do what I need to do to release it. And then I'm gonna move on and be great and let other people be great as well. So, I love the fact that you never let a bad experience change your entire view, because I think that's what a lot of women do. They get betrayed by someone that they've been friends with for 5, 6, 10, maybe 20 years, and they just completely shut down. And I understand it, but I love the fact that you said you didn't allow that to stop you from the good experiences. Sometimes focus too much on the bad when it comes down to building relationships and having friendships, especially with other women who are doing great things. Sometimes people are intimidated by all of the great things you do, so they feel like they don't that whole saying, you can't sit with us and you're not with us and you're not on my. I get so, to this day, I still be looking at people sideways when they be like, you're not on my level, and I'm like, well, what level is that? Like, you know what I mean? So just making sure that you're always open to receive, because you never know how. My thought process on it is, you never know how God is going to use that person to bless you, and you never know if you're that person that they need that blessing from. So if you shut everybody out because you had a bad experience, you might be very well missing your blessing. The person that God sent to you to connect you to great opportunities, to connect you to people, and just give you insight that maybe you wouldn't have had before if you decided that, I'm done with women. I don't mess with women. That sounds crazy to me as a woman, that people are still saying that. Like, oh yeah, I don't mess with women. I'm like, oh, really? Like, how? Like, how does that work? How's that working for you? Like, it's not. There's no way that it can be. So I love the fact that you said, it's not about you, because it really isn't. And I feel like our lives, as I'm growing and learning about just being here, being present, I feel like our lives are not about us. Like, there's what we do go through, what we experience. It's not just for us, and it's so selfish to just put yourself in a box and just not share the gift that God has given you to be whoever you are. Be your unapologetic, be yourself. Don't fake it, don't front it, don't try to be anyone else but you. And I understand now. I understand that now more than ever. You got to be your true, authentic self. And you touched on it earlier when you said, you got to be right within. So can you, share some tips, or share how you even realize at times, like, okay, I gotta kind of check my crown and adjust my own crown and make sure I'm right, so that I'm in a space where I can receive and give the way that I need to.
Oh goodness. So I shared this at a conference I just spoke at this past weekend about going tit for tat. This is how you know when you're not full. The moment that you start to look around at people and say, I've done this and that for that person, and that person can't even pick up the phone and check on me to see if I'm okay. That person never, reciprocates anything that I give them. That's when you know that you're full. That's when you know you need to pause and start pouring back in, because honey, your cup is getting empty. Those are the moments when I know, because I never, ever want to give or serve or pour or whatever with the expectation of anybody doing anything for me, because I know that God is my provider, and I know that his promises are real. What I sow is what I will reap. I don't need anyone to do anything for me as long as I am doing what God told me to do. And so anytime that I found myself like get into that point where I'm looking around like, wait a minute, I haven't heard from that person in a while, and that person that never supports me. And, I've supported their t-shirt line when it dropped, and I dropped the t-shirt and they didn't. Whenever, anytime though, any type of thoughts like that come up, I know I have to pause and pour back in, because I'm getting empty. Yeah. So that is what I would say is the importance of personal development as it relates to sisterhood, for sure. If you are full and constantly full, you're always pouring out, and you're not at all ever taking account for who is not returning anything to you, because you're full. You don't need them to. You're full. So it's important to pour into yourself regularly.
That's a whole drop the mic. That's a whole word right there. Because it's so important. I love the fact that you said, you're not tit for tat. Like, I supported you, I do this, and they didn't buy none of my stuff. And I see that all day on social media, from business owners and service providers, and people just going in about who's not supporting. And if you don't do this, I'm gonna cut you off, and blah blah blah. And I'm just like, we gotta stop thinking about that. And if you are supporting with the hopes of this person must support me back, it's a problem. You got to figure that out, because that's not it. And I consider every time, even today, the shirt I got on is from my friend. So we have to really look within when it comes down to issues, because a lot of times, sometimes the issue is not everybody else. Sometimes that issue is you. And you have to be honest enough to say that, even to the point of, I love how you said, sometimes I think like, they didn't reach out to me, they didn't call me. And it's like, okay, you can think that way, but then you can also think, but have I called them? Maybe they're quiet because they're going through something. Maybe they need a friend, a hug, a listening ear, because you never know what people are going through. And a lot of times, especially us women, we could be going through, World War III. But we on here like, today's a good day. Like, I'm so happy, and knowing that it's a whole boatload of stuff going on behind the scenes. So that's something to think about for those of you who are listening or you're catching the replay. Think about that. When you find yourself like, she ain't buy none of my stuff, or she didn't share my page, or blah blah blah. You might you gotta figure out what's going on internally with you before you look outwardly and think that it's everybody else doing whatever that they're doing to you. Because sometimes people really don't do nothing. It's be all in our head. It be all in our head. So we got to do better with that. So when it comes down to sisterhood and building a tribe and having a tribe. I mean, there's so many different types of women in She Win Society, and that's another thing that I love about it, because it's not just restricted to like this specific one little group of people. It is so open. There are people who are younger, older, you married, single, mothers, you name it. Doctors, we have it all. So, dealing with different personalities, I know sometimes can be challenging, and it could be overwhelming as well. So when you are having like events and things and dealing with different people, what's something that you do to keep you kind of centered, to keep you level headed when you're about to go speak, or you're about to have an event, which, by the way, there's an event happening next week. I'll let her talk more about it. So how are you when you feel empty? What's some tips on filling yourself back up? Because some people don't even know how to do that. Some people struggle with, filling themselves back up, or they've been empty for so long they don't even know that they're empty. Because I've been there. So what are some advice that you would tell that woman who's like, okay, I'm empty, but I don't know what to do. Like, I don't how what do you mean refill? Refill how? So what would you tell that woman?
Tell that woman that refilling yourself is pouring into yourself, investing in yourself, taking good care of yourself. So ultimately, there's some really basic things when it comes to refilling yourself: mind, body, spirit, right? So what's going on in your mind? If you find that your mind is cluttered and you just have a lot of stuff going on, journaling is a really good way in order to get a lot of stuff out, get things off of your mind. Also, planning. So a lot of us struggle with just never having clarity in mind because we're trying to remember all these different things. Write things down, get them out of your head, free your mind, free your space of things that don't have to be there. So, for me, I live by my calendar. If it's not on there, it likely doesn't get done. If somebody asks me what you have going on this day, I check my calendar. It's not up here. I don't hold stuff up here. I just don't, because that helps to relieve stress. So I would say journaling and just writing things down, getting clear about what your goals are and your plans are, and just checking back in with yourself. So that's also a mindset. Sometimes we have these habits, these routines we get into of doing things the same way every day. And then we're frustrated and we're empty and we're not sure why, because those things that once served us, once made us happy, once energized us, no longer do. So check back in with yourself and see like what habits or what ways of being that are no longer serving you, and switch them up with something else. I would also say exercising and eating right. Everything, how you think and how you feel changes everything about your life. Anybody who exercises regularly and eats right will tell you that changes how they feel. So take care of the vessel that you have to move about in. Like, you go to get your oil changed and your tires changed and all those different things. When it comes to your car, that's the same way you need to think about your body, because if your body shuts down, there is no more movement for you. You know what I mean? So it's important that you are eating the right foods and understanding how what you're eating is affecting how you're thinking and how you're feeling and your energy levels and all of that, because it definitely has an impact. And I would say to just take time to just be. Like, we do have all these schedules. I know a lot of us wear a lot of hats and have a lot of responsibilities. There needs to be time in your schedule that you write in, that you make for just you to just be, not to be running around for other people, not to be pouring into or serving other people, but really serving yourself. And I know there are a lot of leaders and women who are just in a serving space, and they always find themselves serving someone else or someone, they're the person people reach out to whenever they need a helping hand. I just want you to know that there are, I mean, it's great to sacrifice for others, but there are no rewards that you get for pouring yourself out so empty. That's not even what God wants for you. God wants you to be whole and healthy and full too. So take time to pour into yourself so that you can continue to serve others and pour into others, and do it at the best of your ability. Not do it in the space of I'm tired, I'm exhausted, I don't feel like it, I'm doing it just because I feel obligated. All of that. Just pouring into yourself is doing things that are healthy for you, that are good for you, that make you feel good and make you enjoy life, that make you take time to just sit back and look around and see what you have accomplished for yourself. I have to add that last thing, taking time to celebrate your wins. So many of us are always going forward to the next thing. We reach a huge goal, we take a second to celebrate it, and then we just keep moving for the next thing. Take time every day to look around and look at what you've accomplished already, the obstacles you've overcome, and celebrate your wins every single day. Be grateful every single day. And those are some ways that you can refill yourself.
That is awesome. I love the fact, you said something key, because sometimes we get so caught up in the future that we are not present in today. We are like somewhere else. We think about what we're gonna do in May of 2021. It's like, wait, hold up. It's
Right.
we ain't even made it through the winter yet. Stop, pause, take a deep breath, look around, enjoy the trees, the leaves falling off, or they're bright and green if you're in a hot area. But you have to take those moments to look at what you've done and to breathe. We wear so many hats, we do so many things, and it could be overwhelming when you're trying to run a race that you're supposed to be, just treading lightly and walking, and you trying to run, and you end up just hurting yourself in the end. I'm a witness. You end up hurting yourself in the end, and you'll be so burnt out and so frustrated that you wouldn't even be able to flow from overflow. It'll just be you just negative and you're trying to pour and you're wondering why you're not healthy. And I love that you touched on your health, because when you're not healthy mentally, there's no way you're going to be healthy physically. They go
Absolutely.
hand in hand. So when you're not doing what you need to do to make sure that you feel good, you gonna be frustrated and grumpy. And ain't nobody got time for that. Nobody want to be around negativity or
Right.
that. So as far as what I was just talking about, the sisterhood, we have an amazing event. So tell us more about what's happening next week.
Yes. So we are hosting Stepping into Sisterhood, Uniting for Our Greater Good. We usually host Stepping into Sisterhood as a tour every year. We've traveled around the country from New York to Ohio to Orlando, and we've done this for the last few years. However, of course, considering the circumstances, we will not be hosting an in-person event this year. So we are going to be hosting Stepping into Sisterhood virtually for women to be able to participate in this event from anywhere in the world, from the comfort of their homes. And we are going to have 19 amazing panelists, 3 powerful panels. Natalie is definitely one of the panelists. And we are going to be talking about redefining sisterhood and women empowerment. We are going to be talking about what causes the breakdown in sisterhood and how we can collectively improve. And we're going to be talking about what habits we can implement in our daily lives to be better women and better sisters for our communities and the world. So we are just going to be getting really real and honest and transparent about the interactions that we have with one another, so that we can get better insight into how we are connected and how we treat each other, how that impacts the world around us, the world that we all live in, because we really are connected and we have a responsibility to each other that we may not always realize or want to accept. But just like we talked about, there are women who don't want to connect, to collaborate and work with other women based on the interactions that they've had with a few women. So we have a responsibility to one another, and we have an impact on one another greater than, like I said, I think we even recognize or want to accept. And so it's important that as sisters, we learn to work together, even when we are different, even when we don't agree, but we learn to come together and have sisterly hearts to one another, meaning being able to forgive, being able to understand, being able to extend compassion, and to unite for our greater good. Because sometimes we have to do things we don't want to do, right? Sometimes we have to work out when we don't want to because it's good for our health. And sometimes we're going to have to put ourselves in spaces with other women, even when we don't want to, because it's good for our communities, it's good for our families, and it's good for the world. So it's time for us to set aside our differences, set aside whatever it is that we have, whatever past issues that we've encountered that make us feel like, no, I can't trust other women. We've got to put that aside because future generations depend on it. And honestly, our lives depend on it. So we are going to have conversations, real conversations, next Sunday, October 11th, 2020, from 1 to 5 p.m. It will be amazing if you can join us. You can get more information at shewinsociety.com. And we've made it super easy for you to attend. You just have to donate any amount. No amount is too small. And this is going to help to further She Wins Society's mission to unite and empower women to win, as well as to help support 20 women-owned businesses. So we are just really showing women how much further we can go when we work together. And we're showing women that when women support women, we all win. So come on, come help us make history. We're going to have a great time.
Click on
SheWinsSociety.com.
That is the title and get register. You don't have, it's Friday, it's payday. So, put any amount, but make sure you register and make sure you are there next Sunday. I'm super excited to be a part of it. And I love that you said, we're better together, because two is better than one. I mean, there are things that I have that I can give to you, things that you have that you can give to me. And imagine if we did that on a global, worldwide. I mean, Beyonce already said girls run the world, but we would truly be running things, and it'll just be a beautiful thing. And I think, the thing about our differences is that's what makes us beautiful together, because we are so different. If we was all the same, that would be so whack. I mean, even though I think I'm fabulous, but if everybody was like me, it would be whack. It would not be as great. We would not be as great as we are, and we wouldn't have the impact and be able to create the change that we are. And what I've always told you was, for me, She Wins Society, it literally restored my faith in having relationships and sisterhood and all the things, because I felt I was at a point where I was just like, yeah, I'm done. Like, a girl, who gonna be there? You know how people ask and you want to know all the details, but it really did. And I am just so thankful that I came across it, thankful that we connected, and thankful that years later, here we are. I'm on your platform, you're on my platform. We just going back and forth, and we're just connecting, collaborating, and really just creating the change that we want to see in the world. And it's an amazing, beautiful thing. So for those of you who listened, who chimed in, make sure that you go to shewinsociety.com, register for the event next Sunday, right? Sunday. I almost said Saturday. Sunday. And, any amount, donate any amount. Don't feel ashamed. Don't feel like you got to have $500 or two. I mean, if you want to now, the Lord put that on your heart. Click a donate. But other than that, make sure you sign up for that. And I'm just really excited to see just the women who are going to be touched by it. I've been touched by it. I've been a previous speaker as well when we were able to go out into the world. But now that we're virtual, we can still have the same impact and do the same thing. So I'm just excited. I'm just so happy to see the growth in you as my sister friend. Always inspired, always growing, always learning. So, and that's what it's about. Sisterhood is really about coming together, and just helping each other adjust each other's crowns. Period. That's it. Like, that's it. Period. Poo. I don't even know what that means. Why do people use it? But I'm just thankful that you were here today. We'll be back in a week with another special guest. So thank you all for tuning in. For those of you who tuned in, make sure you put it on your calendar, first and third Friday evening. Come chill, have a seat, get comfortable, and chill in the Queen's Corner with media correspondent Natalie Lewis. Shout out to Swag Her Magazine. Actually, what you need to do, because it's their 10-year anniversary, is go to swagher.net and get your copy of the 10-year anniversary, which I am going to do right after I do this. And I'm so excited for everything that's happening with Swagger as well. So before I let you go, I'm gonna do this every show. So before I let you go, I just want you to share, in your own words, how you can address, how you adjust another queen's crown. Just give us. It could be short. It could be a little excerpt. Just throw us something real. Give the people something. I know you got something. Give them something.
This is good. Well, before I do that, thank you, Natalie, so much for having me.
You're welcome.
How do I adjust another queen's crown? So many ways, but I would say that my most favorite way is to remind my sisters that they are worthy, that they are capable, that they are beautiful, that they are more than enough, that they are the treasures to be found, that they are God's heart, God's daughters.
Yes.
I remind my sisters of who they are and whose they are. That is my most favorite way to adjust my sisters or a queen's crown, is to just remind her of who she is and whose she is.
That is awesome. So, y'all heard it first. That is how you can adjust another queen's crown, and make it your business to do that weekly. Make it your business to find somebody, it could be just simple as a comment of I'm proud of you, or you're beautiful, or you're gorgeous. Just to uplift another queen. That's really what it's all about. And as you do that, you'll feel good, they'll feel good, and you're just creating a change and being positive and being that light for someone else. So just because her crown is shining doesn't mean that yours is not. So help someone else crown shine as well. So thank you so much for tuning in to the Queen's Corner. We will be back October. Let me get the date right, because I can't believe it's October, because this month is flying by. October 16th with another special guest. So we will be back then. But until then, always, always wear your crown. Good night.